6 months after I finally got the promotion I wanted, I lost my relationship, quit my job, and ended up living with my brother. And the worst part? The guy I thought I beat never even knew we were competing because... The stupid part is, I actually thought I won. For almost a whole month, I walked around feeling like I'd finally gotten justice, and life had rewarded me for putting up with somebody I thought didn't deserve what they had. Then, 6 months later, I was unemployed, single, living with my brother, and realizing I had destroyed my own life over a competition the other person didn't even know existed. This happened at my old company, medium-sized office, around 60 employees, mostly operations and logistics. I started there at 24 and immediately decided I was going to move up fast. I worked overtime constantly, came in early, stayed late, said yes to everything. People joked I cared too much, but I honestly thought that's how careers worked. You work harder than everyone and eventually people notice. At first it seemed true. Managers liked me. People trusted me. Then a new guy joined. I'll call him Ben. He wasn't even new to the industry. Same age as me. Transferred from another branch. First impression was honestly weird because he didn't act ambitious at all. First week he left exactly at 5 every day. Never volunteered, never stayed late, never acted stressed, ate lunch away from everybody, didn't talk much. Meanwhile, I'm there till 7 fixing reports and helping other teams. So immediately I assumed he was lazy. A few months later, people started liking him. Managers included. They'd ask for his opinion in meetings. He'd say like 3 sentences, and everyone acted like he solved world hunger. Meanwhile, I'm showing charts and spreadsheets, and nobody cares. I remember one meeting specifically. We had a process issue, and I spent hours preparing solutions. Ben talks for maybe 30 seconds, and manager goes, "That's actually really smart." I was irritated the entire day. Then promotion season came. There was one opening. Everyone knew it. Team supervisor. Better pay. Better hours. More authority. I wanted it badly. I had already mentally spent the race. Interviews happened. Feedback meetings happened. Guess who got it? Ben. I remember sitting in my car after work, genuinely angry. Not sad. Angry. I kept replaying every overtime shift in my head. Every weekend, every extra task. And this guy who leaves at 5 every day gets promoted. Manager gave me some speech about leadership and consistency. I didn't hear half of it. I just heard, "Not you." For the next few weeks, I became obsessed. I started noticing everything Ben did. If he came in 5 minutes late, I noticed. If he left early, I noticed. If he took lunch too long, I noticed. One day, I realized something. Ben would randomly disappear during the day. Not every day. But enough. 40 minutes. Sometimes an hour. Nobody questioned it. That started eating at me. Then one day I saw manager approve his time card manually. That was enough for me. In my head, I figured it out. Favoritism. I stopped seeing Ben as a coworker and started seeing him like somebody who stole something from me. Looking back, that sounds insane, but at the time it felt completely rational. I started documenting. Calendar. Notes. Times. Missing hours. I even started staying later to compare logs. One day, I noticed Ben leaving through a side exit around lunch and driving somewhere. I followed him once. I'm not proud of that. He drove across town, went into some building, stayed around an hour, came back. I looked the place up later. Medical center. I convinced myself it was nothing. Maybe appointments, maybe excuse. But honestly, at that point, I wanted to find something. A few weeks later, I finally booked a meeting with HR. I showed them everything. Dates. Hours. Missing time. Schedule inconsistencies. I acted professional. Said I just wanted fairness. HR thanked me and asked a lot of questions. I walked out feeling incredible. Like finally somebody noticed what I noticed. 2 weeks later, things changed. Ben started getting called into meetings constantly. Managers looked tense. One Friday he left early. Monday he wasn't there. Tuesday either. Wednesday announcement email. Ben stepped down. Position reopening. I remember reading that email and actually smiling. I know that sounds bad, but at the time I thought I was right. People started acting weird, though. Conversations stopped around me. Nobody said anything directly. Then supervisor asked if I wanted temporary responsibilities while they reorganized. I said yes immediately. Suddenly I had everything I wanted. Better office, more meetings, more authority. Except nobody seemed excited. A month later I officially got promoted. No celebration, no congratulations, just paperwork. At first I didn't care. I thought I'd prove everyone wrong. Then reality started. Everybody brought problems to me. Deadlines, complaints, staffing issues. I started staying late every night, weekends too. I figured, okay, this is temporary. Then one afternoon, one of the older employees asked if I was adjusting okay. We talked for a bit and somehow Ben came up. She looked surprised and said, "Wow, you really didn't know?" I asked what she meant. She said, management tried keeping it private, but Ben's wife had severe complications after childbirth, and he was taking care of their newborn while she recovered. The medical center I followed him to? Therapy and appointments? The schedule adjustments? Approved? The reason he always left at 5? Because he had responsibilities. The reason managers trusted him? Because despite all that, his team performed better than everyone else. Apparently, HR got involved after complaints, and formal accommodations became complicated. Ben didn't want attention, didn't want special treatment. So he stepped down and transferred. I remember sitting there pretending to listen while feeling physically sick. I didn't tell anybody. I just went home and stared at my ceiling. For days I kept telling myself I didn't know. But deep down, I knew something worse. I never asked. I never once talked to him. Because if I talked to him, maybe I wouldn't have gotten to feel righteous. Couple months later, leadership started evaluating me. Turns out I wasn't good, not terrible, but nowhere near as good as I thought. My team hated overtime. Turnover increased. My girlfriend got tired of me working constantly. We argued all the time. One night she said, "You spent years trying to become somebody, and now that you are him, you're miserable." 3 months later, she moved out. Another month and I quit. Burned out completely. About a year later, I randomly saw Ben at a grocery store. I almost left, but he recognized me. We talked. He looked healthier, happier, said his family was doing better. Then he asked how leadership was going. I lied and said good. Then he said something I still think about. He goes, "Honestly, getting moved was probably good. I was becoming somebody I didn't want to be." Then he laughed and said, "Life has a weird way of correcting things sometimes." We said goodbye. He never knew. Never knew I followed him. Never knew I reported him. Never knew I spent months angry at him for living a life I completely misunderstood. And that's honestly the worst part, because if he hated me, I could tell myself I paid for what I did. Instead, he was nice, and I had to realize all by myself that I spent a year trying to beat somebody who wasn't even competing with me. Subscribe to the channel and leave a like for more stories.